Words. I'm going to begin this by reciting something from a famous Taoist, Zhuangzi, who was second famous only to Laozi, who wrote the Tao Te Ching. The fish trap exists because of the fish. Once you've gotten the fish, you can forget the trap. The rabbit snare exists because of the rabbit. Once you've gotten the rabbit, you can forget the snare. Words exist because of meaning. Once you've gotten the meaning, you can forget the words. Where can I find a man who has forgotten words so I can talk with him? My relationship to words is a very interesting one. I can't say that I despise words, but sometimes I feel I do. And the only thing that keeps me from that is that words can be used in beautiful poetry. And in this way, it's sort of like a open way of communication. It's colorful and it can form symbiotic relationships, and all that is beautiful because it's art. Because art allows and involves the surroundings and everything, but when you use words to solidly black and white define something, I don't know. It's not really my thing. It seems to take the life out of everything. For instance, you could go out for a walk and instead of seeing everything for what it perhaps is, you could just start throwing labels all over them. Oh, this is an oak, and this is that and that, and then the life seems to just fly away from it. I know there was a talk from Terence McKenna, and he mentioned how children, they sort of think in a way to where they're not really putting labels on anything. They're just like, oh, this is cool, and that shape and this color, oh, I like that, this is fun. But we get this programming where we just put labels on everything and it sort of solidifies it. And so Terence McKenna was talking about how like a child would be playing and a mother would come by and she would see that the child is amazed by this bird, and the mother would be like, oh, that's just a bird. You're just looking at a bird. Label, word, bird. And it's for this same reason. I don't even like names. I was labeled, I suppose, Robert in my birth certificate, but Robert, really? That's who I am. All right, got me. So I don't know. Labels, I don't know. To me, they're so limiting. I would just prefer to be nothing, anonymous, because it seems there's more play and more openness to that sort of thing. It's very simple, really. I've kind of let go of words, really. Even reading, I've stopped really reading too much. I go out more in nature. I don't try to distinguish one thing from another. It's all beautiful to me. I don't know. It seems words are kind of absurd because the mention of one word for one person will be totally different for another person, and the meaning they get from it. The academic Derrida really put this through, even though when you read his stuff it's completely absurd, because the way he's describing his philosophy in and of itself is trying to show you that words are completely, almost nonsensical. You could look at a word, look it up in the dictionary, and look at the definition, and then take the words from the definition and then look those up, And then it could be, you could do this with 5 words. Just keep looking it up. And then what you find is you come back to the same thing again. So it's like, it's recursive. So what does this tell me? That words are pretty absurd. I don't really care about words. They can be used for art, which is beautiful. But I would rather just play and not get in this head chamber naming brain to where I think I know something, because knowing seems pretty absurd, because it will eventually loop back on itself, creating this self-referencing nonsense. So you know what? I would rather just dance instead, because there's a different type of language in dance. It's body language. It's universal. I feel it's very universal. You can get other types of meaning. Perhaps it is a little bit like words, but there's more attached to it. I mean, there's sort of more feeling attached to it, perhaps. And there's more semblance of play, which is what I'm about. I'm about play. I'm about growing less, perhaps, growing younger, which is, I suppose, a Taoist ideal. And words just, they don't do it for me, really. They can be used as a tool, then I throw away the tool. I consider myself well versed in my vocabulary, and I'm well read, but I tend to not really give a shit about all that. I have delved into this academic world so that I can feed back its nonsense into itself, creating cognitive dissonance to show people that words are nonsense, and that it's better just to play and to stop thinking and to put more frequency on the heart, because life's too short to name. Put things in prisons, prison bars. Unless that's your thing. Unless that's your thing, being incarcerated by things, which is why I study this dance called Buto, because it's sort of like a mockery in some of these negative, imprisoning aspects, to where it decides to dance that anyway. These things that enslave you, just to perhaps cause a little bit of cognitive dissonance in and of itself. And so basically, what to take back from all this is, don't put too much energy in words, or labels. There's more out there than these definers. I don't know. I mean, just look at the letters and words themselves. They're like they're like black bars, you know, in and of themselves, like seeking to control you. Words are power, logos. You don't need any of that. I would just say forget it all.